Let's cover this first story with a soundtrack that is sure to bring you back, and if you're like me, make you feel young again. Today's soundtrack is parents arguing in the room adjacent to us while we're trying to sleep because we have school tomorrow and their relationship is on its last leg. This is a vintage one, folks. Let's go ahead and pop it in the jukebox and start our first story. There we go. A federal judge in New York has rejected a bid by Ghislaine Maxwell to overturn her 2021 sex trafficking conviction and her 20-year prison sentence. Does that only mean that she would be in there until 2041? Seems a little, I'm just going to be real with you, a little short for somebody who was supposedly guilty of what she was guilty of. But I understand she's like, she wasn't him. You know what I mean? You want us to give her, you want us to give her the conviction that he would have gotten? That's a little ridiculous. You know what I mean? A woman shouldn't have to pay for the crimes of a man. I get it. Maxwell, representing herself from a federal prison in Texas, submitted a lengthy petition arguing that her rights were violated and claiming that in newly unsealed files released that relate to the late Jeff Epstein, they contained evidence that could clear her name. However, U.S. District Judge Paul Engelmeyer, something like that, firmly dismissed the request in a 67-page ruling. He called her arguments completely meritless and frivolous. In his decision, Judge Engelmeyer emphasized that the overwhelming documentary and testimonial evidence presented at trial firmly established Maxwell's guilt. The judge noted the vast majority of her legal claims were procedurally barred because she had either already raised and lost those same arguments during previous appeals or failed to bring them up at an appropriate time. Furthermore, the court said that the newly released Epstein files did not exonerate her in any way, but rather reinforced the correctness of the original legal rulings and supported the jury's verdict. The rulings are marking another major setback. I'm mad for her. She called me. We had a lengthy conversation about it. I'm going to be real with you. Harvey Weinstein has a better chance of getting out than her right now. We haven't felt this bad about it in a while. So she's just like, she's telling me I hate the prison suit I always have to wear. They always make me wear embarrassing clothes. They have me, wearing these absolutely embarrassing jumpers, and I have to eat this absolutely terrible, food. And I'm like, just Ghislaine, don't off yourself. I know that that's like the furthest thing from your mind because you realize that there is still a solid chance that justice will not be served. I'm trying to really, if you guys ever talk to one of your friends off of the ledge, it's kind of like when, those cases where a Discord guy will be like emotionally dumping to someone that he knows is like a 12-year-old, those 22-year-olds that are like, oh, I'm just going to rant on here because I played Among Us with these people, so I for some reason feel like they're fucking therapists for me. It's a very common thing for some of these people, and I'm trying to talk her down off a ledge. It's kind of like that. Maxwell is like 20 times my age. Well, how old is Ghislaine Maxwell? I need to know this. How old Ghislaine Maxwell? I just need to know how old she's going to be when she gets out. She is currently 64. She is 3 times my age, ladies and gentlemen. 23 times 3. I mean, a little less than that, but you get it. Like, I'm not the person that should be giving her the emotional support that she's demanding right now, but she needs it from me. I don't understand it. She's been calling me, and I'm telling her, like, I just don't need friends that are going to be in bad spots. You know what I mean? I don't need somebody who's going to always be needy and always be like, oh, I have so many issues. It's like, well, you kind of got yourself into those issues. I told you not to get on that plane. I told you not to get with that guy. When your friend keeps getting with a red flag and you know that he's not good for her, that's exactly what I saw in Jeff. And I told her we were having Mai Tais back in 2005, I believe it was. I was 3 years old, and I was telling her, goddamn, Ghislaine, that guy, I've been hearing things about just like he goes to these, parties, he rents out the entire Marriott. It's a very messy situation, and I was worried for her. I was really worried for her sake that she was going to get tied up in all this, and she ignored my pleas. And now who's in federal jail? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to tell you this. Who is sitting with a podcast with 30-something subscribers, and who is sitting in a jail in Texas?
A federal judge has rejected Ghislaine Maxwell's attempt to get her sex trafficking conviction overturned. The judge suggested that her latest attempt is useless after Maxwell claimed that there was new evidence that exonerates her. The judge said the so-called new evidence is irrelevant and warned Maxwell if she tries to appeal again that it would not be taken in good faith. Maxwell has made several different attempts at getting her prison sentence vacated. She's currently serving 20 years in prison for recruiting minors to be sexually abused by her long-time confidant, Jeffrey Epstein. Last year, the Trump DOJ moved Maxwell from a low-security federal correctional institution in Florida to a less restrictive prison camp in Texas, one that she apparently gushed to her friends and family about over the cleanliness and safety. That, according to NBC News exclusive reporting. NBC's Ryan Riley joins us now. Ryan, the judge here really kind of shut this latest attempt down, didn't he? Did he say? What did he say about Maxwell's claims?
Yeah, so a lot of these new claims surfaced from these files that were released, and basically saying that there's some new information in here. But the judge said basically that that's not the case. In fact, in one quote, they said that it reinforces the correctness of the legal rulings that Maxwell challenges, because she was essentially arguing that these outside lawyers were basically acting as agents of the government, some of the victim lawyers. But, you know, what we've seen extensively supports this notion that she did play a major role in this entire endeavor. That she
continues to plead her innocence, ladies and gentlemen, and she has every right to do that. It will not be taken in good faith if she tries to do it again, though. That is the thing. For some odd reason, they have decided to target this poor woman. They've decided to pin all these crimes that some man did. This is the thing, is that men are always dragging women into their bullshit. This is the thing. If your boyfriend ever comes to you with, like, hey, I was thinking, me and you, compound in Idaho, wherever he offers, he's going to try to say, it's beautiful, there's like mountains, and like you'll be able to have goats for like milk and cheese and all that. He's going to try to paint like this fairy tale image, because he understands the magic and the power of cozy core and cottage core. He's going to try to pose to you, we're going to go up there, we're just going to live, maybe we'll have, maybe I'll have a couple other wives, he'll mention that later, by the way. Once you've moved up to Idaho and it's a little too late to get out of the contract, he'll start bringing up the idea of polyamory, and then it'll go darker places from there, and then he'll start saying that he is the new Ezekiel, and he is receiving, testimonials from angels on the top of mountains. It's going to be a fun time for you if you decide to go with it.